Hi everyone, this is Autopostrophe. We're gonna go, excuse me, we're gonna go back to the Sega Genesis Classics collection, and we are gonna play Phantasy Star 2. We just got done with Sega Ages Phantasy Star number 1. Unfortunately, the Sega Ages series is over. They don't plan on producing any more games in that series, so we're likely not going to get a Phantasy Star 2 remaster. But we can still play Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4 as part of the Sega Genesis collection. Now, this is not a perfect collection. Sometimes there are some things that aren't quite perfect in the emulation, but it's what we got. So let's check it out. Now, Phantasy Star 2 was a tremendous deal when it came out. It was absolutely huge, especially with the Genesis, at least in North America, being still a relatively new system. I forget the name of the default character. Oh well, that's fine. Oh, it's only 4 characters. What would the character have been named back in these days? Well, that's fine. Let's just... Well then, let's begin the game. I am haunted by nightmares every night. A young girl is battling a giant demon. I am close by, but can't move or speak. All I can do is watch while the demon keeps striking at the girl. From part 1. Just as she is fighting for her life, I awake. I awake in my room, dimly lit by the early dawn. I am filled with an incredible sadness and fear. I am Odd, an agent here in Paseo, the capital of Moto. I shake my head, as if to scatter the remnants of the dream. I have no time to worry, like a child, about nightmares in this modern age, especially with the mother brain planning and controlling all aspects of the environment. I open my window and take a deep breath of fresh air. It seems to wash away the bad feelings left by my dream. Good morning, Odd. How are you? Almost 2 years have passed since you started working for me, the commander of Moto. What I am going to ask you to do will be the toughest job you have ever done, but it is vital to the future of Moto. As you know, Algo has been brought up by Mother Brain. My work as a commander has been to smoothly promote the plans of Mother Brain. I had believed that Mother Brain never makes mistakes, but those monsters all over Moto are just too much. We must find out by ourselves why those monsters were born, and how to bring them under control. Odd, your mission is to go to the Biosystems lab and get the recorder. If we look into the data, we can figure out how the Biosystems lab ended up making those monsters. Odd, I hope from the bottom of my heart that you come back safely. With the recorder. We'll see each other again. After going home and preparing for the trip, Nai seemed worried. Nai, I have to leave for a while. Nai stared at me for a moment. I remembered when we first met. She looked at me in just the same way. That was 7 months ago. Because she was the product of a mixture of human cells and those of a biomonster, she was an outcast from society. You were still small when we first met, but now you can take care of yourself. I'm going on a dangerous journey. Too dangerous for you. I worry about you like you were my sister. Still, Nai stood in the doorway to keep me from leaving. Please, Odd, take me with you. I'll do anything for you. I took my sack and started to go, but Nai still blocked the way. I had no choice. I decided to let her come with me. Do not get close to the bridge to the north river. Many people have been killed there by a man named Darum. Or Darum. If there's something you would like to know about Moto, you should go to the library at the central tower. My dad is just goofing off every day. He says he can live without working. Maybe you should go back home when you get to a strange town. There might be some stranger who comes looking for you. When I grow up, I'm going to be a thief. Yeah, I should kick your ass right now, kid. I'm sure I have nothing that I can buy. I should buy some monomate though. Oh, no, I don't need that. Not yet. Headgear, carbon suit, fiber carbon shield. I need to fight more before I start thinking about this stuff. It hasn't rained at all for a while. The lake even dried up. This town is peaceful. I'm glad I moved here from Arama. Hunters are the coolest guys. They really are strong and so dependable. No, I'm okay, yeah. That's right. It's not like the original game where I have to visit the church or the hospital. I used to work at the biosystems lab, which is on the other side of the lake. And here, they have a cloning lab instead of a church. Which makes more sense in this universe. Okay, well, we can teleport, but we don't need to because we haven't gone anywhere yet. Why should I work for a living? Yeah, well, even in the future, that is something people ask. Data memory. Yeah, it's weird. It asks you to name it every single time. Well, well, you are arms and brave, but if you don't keep your weapons in good shape, they're worth nothing. If you have money, you can always get your body cloned at the clone lab. Yeah, I wish your character didn't have to go so far into the screen in order to get it to scroll. It makes it sort of awkward to move around. This is Central Tower in Paseo, the capital of Moto. Let's see, I don't think I can buy anything for Nai until the next town. Oh no, there it is. Up shop. Maybe you should go back home. Yeah. Sound advice, actually. Knife, dagger, scalpel, steel bar. Let's get some steel bars for Nai. Oh, that's right. Equip. Now there's an equip ability. Let's see, what do I have? Knife, carbon suit, shoes. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. Oh, that's right. I forgot there's a rewind feature in this. Let's see. We could do quick save with the right stick. Up or down on the right stick. And like every early JRPG, there's a ton and a ton and a ton of fighting. Oh, that's right. I had to set nice strategy. Otherwise, you won't attack. Yes, attack, please. Yeah, there's no getting around it. There is grinding. I mean, you just have to do a ton of grinding. I mean, that was the gameplay back then. You know, it wasn't so much a whole lot of story and character development, although there is some in this game. And later on, later Final Fantasies, became more like visual novels than role-playing games. But yeah, this was it. I've been doing a lot of this. Oh, that's right. I don't think you can get a free rest at your house in this game. And here you don't do it individually, it'll just do your entire party, which is awful nice. That one at a time thing with the original Game Boy, that was cumbersome. Yeah, it's almost a shame that they decided to get rid of the more first-person styled combat, because you never get any different backgrounds. In fact, this almost feels like this game wasn't done, and that it just was released in as close to beta state as it could be. It just seems like a strange decision not to put backgrounds in. The cool thing is once you set the strategy, then the game basically just auto fights for you, and then you can interrupt the game by just pushing A, and then you can do individual commands. But the default is just auto fight. That's awful convenient, considering how much fighting we had to do. And they're still doing the tradition of the animated enemies still, at least. And then you actually see your own animations instead of just the slash animations. And like I said, if you think about the RPGs that were released around this time, things like Dungeon Master or Eye of the Beholder, and even the regular Nintendo games, the King's Quest and Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. Was Dragon Quest released at this time? I think at least part one was out. Maybe even part two by the time this game came out, at least in Japan. I mean, if you look at those games during this time period, I mean, this was a incredibly advanced game. And still being unique because it was a sci-fi setting and not your typical fantasy setting. Although obviously there's still swords and shields and things that are very fantasy-esque, but they added guns and laser swords and stuff like that. Ooh boy, now he's not doing so hot, huh? Let's sort of make our way towards our next destination. I mean, really, even stereo sound was just like a new thing. You know, you can get stereo sound out of some of the original Nintendo games. Hudson actually sold their own gamepad, which did some emulated stereo. I think they brought it over to the North America too, if I remember correctly, although it didn't really catch on. Yeah, I mean, good and bad. This experience is a much longer experience than Phantasy Star number one. Especially when you consider playing the Sega Ages version. It's a much faster game playing it through that way. But we are going to spend, like I said, tons and tons of time grinding. And since this isn't really enhanced in any way, besides offering save states and the rewind function, I mean, it is pretty much just a game, with some nice screen filters as well, which I appreciate. I've seen that face. He tried to kill Nai 7 months ago. This is bad news. Let's go back for a while. And we'll get back to that hunter. Yeah, I think the music's really well composed. I think it still sounds good, you know, even today. Although even as I was a younger gamer, hearing the sound drop out was kind of disappointing because that was one of the things that the original Nintendo was, very infamous for. Is it had really good sound, but limited sound channels, and sounds would mute other sounds when they were playing. It was one of the things that I was hoping would be a thing of the past when the Mega Drive came out, but no, still had the same problems. It's a great victory little jingle, isn't it? Yeah, it's so catchy. maybe not quite as catchy as the Final Fantasy jingle. It's still pretty catchy. And I forget, what does Nai have? She has a ribbon, a carbon vest, and sandals. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. And again, to me, it's important that we do double save duty, so we need to save inside the game. Just in case the save state fails. Now, I've heard of that happening. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I have heard of other people having the save state fail on them, which is why you need to, you need to do the in-game save as well. Oh, did I hit no? Oh, damn it. Too busy yapping, not paying attention. Hold on. No, don't do that. I need to reset it. I think I can reset it, right? Yeah, reset. You should don't make that mistake, huh? I remember this game being kind of expensive when it launched too. Quick save there. Yeah, and I tell you, it was really one of the few series that had such vibrant colors. Later on, the Genesis would be, unfortunately known for some drab colors. But yeah, during the first few games that came out, yeah, there were some games that were kind of darker in nature and they didn't have this nice pop to them. But thankfully, in this game's case, you can see it's real vibrant. And I think this is the kind of look that really stands the test of time, as opposed to something like Stormlord, which was a darker looking game, but and looked good for the time, even though the game wasn't really that good. But now you look at that game, and it's just like it really doesn't offer anything that you'd want to see anymore. Even something like Ghouls and Ghosts, that was dark, but at the same time, like all the characters were vibrant. Yeah, I remember playing like a Sword of Sodan, and being impressed with all the the lame blood effects that it had, but at the same time thinking how terrible it looked because it was so drab looking, so dark looking. Reminded me a lot of games that were released during the Amiga heydays. It's a very popular aesthetic to sort of desaturate everything. But now that look is silly. Why in the world did you come to Arma? This is such a horrible place. Really, it's only horrible because there's no hospital. I know, the hideout of those scoundrels is at a building in Shure. The scoundrels must have 2 more dynamite sticks. Unless we take them away, another town will be destroyed. If only those scoundrels hadn't come to this town, Daram and his daughter, Tiam, could have lived a happy life. Those scoundrels always come from the east. What's most frightening is humans, not monsters. This town has been wiped out by the scoundrels, and there's nothing left. All from 2 sticks of dynamite, huh? Daram is not a bad guy. The reason he became violent is that his daughter, Tiam, was kidnapped. He's being blackmailed. Those who are left here are just the powerless, who are only waiting to die. Oh, wow, what a cheery guy. The scoundrel stole all the food, killed all the men, and kidnapped all the women. Oh, well, what are you still doing here? I hear that those bad guys are very cautious, and keep their stuff in a locked container. That's just normal caution. Okay, obviously you can't afford a sword. You can't enter that tower. Not like in my hometown. Oh, there's a hospital here. Never mind. The scoundrels blew up everyone's houses with dynamite. Oh, there's no save. That's right. That's the difference. But thankfully, with the save destruction, we can mitigate that with quick saves. But yeah, it's funny to think that every town wouldn't have a save. I mean, there's a revive, with the clone, with the cloning shop, but no save. Like I said, it just seems kind of boneheaded. Yeah, this game also came out with like a mini guide, I think, to help with the first couple of areas. And I believe it also came with a world map too. That's my recollection. I think by the time I bought this, it was a little harder to find. We see the classic enemies. Some of them made their way over from Star 1. I mean, the Locust is something that you still fight in Phantasy Star Online 2, even to this day. That's why I thought the original Phantasy Star Online was so impressive, because they took, all the creatures from this universe, made 3D versions of them, and they were very convincing. You recognize them instantly if you were a Phantasy Star fan. Oh no, I'm pizzaed. Not the pizza. Yeah, you can see the encounter rate is, maybe not as high as like Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest IV, but it's still pretty high. But at the same time, because of the amount of level raising you have to do, it's sort of necessary to have all this encounters. I said the balance wasn't designed to, have you roam the countryside freely. For the most part, your objectives are, they're pretty straightforward. So you don't necessarily have to explore a lot in order to progress the story. Yeah, and it's interesting having the dungeons be this overhead view instead of the first person view from the original game. I think it's a better decision because this is much easier to navigate. But they made the weird decision to put this foreground layer on top, so sometimes it blocks your view. I understand it was cool looking to have multiple layers of scrolling, multiple background and foreground layers, something which was incredibly difficult on the original Nintendo. But this just seemed like a bad decision. Instead, a lot of times it interferes with your view of a wall, makes it harder to navigate. Damn, I can't hit crap. Why am I missing all the time? Those are some bad rolls. Because your character has to be so far into the screen, the screen doesn't scroll closer to the center. You can often miss entire corridors unless you scroll the screen fully. Again, weird decision. Seemed like the game really wasn't done. It's good enough, we can play it to completion, and there weren't really that many errors. A lot of the errors that most modern players face were fixed from the Virtual Console version, which is what this is based on of. Oh, I'm dead. Well, I should pay attention to my health. And the Virtual Console version did fix some nagging bugs from the original release. Considering Nintendo's stance on the Virtual Console for the Wii, was to just offer as close to the original experience as possible. But even then, they went back and they fixed some coding errors. So that was awful nice. I'm going to have to go a lot of back and forth between town and here. I'm not anywhere near the levels I need to really complete the dungeon. Again, there's no way to select individual monsters. You can select, a group of monsters and then they'll attack randomly. Which is where, Final Fantasy was a much better game, and it allows you to target individual monsters. At least after part 2, I think. Part 1 you couldn't. Well, I guess you could, but you could also target empty spaces in this. So, wasn't 100% ideal. Walk all the way back just to heal. Hoping that along the way we don't get ourselves killed. Just so that we can walk back, hoping we don't get killed on the way there. But this is typically how I'd play it. I'd keep raising my levels until they were high enough where I could feel safe, going through this area without having to do too much healing. Because every healing item takes a slot in your inventory, and you have a very limited inventory space. And every character has their own, set of inventory. It's not like Final Fantasy where, basically everybody just shares one giant inventory. Let's see, were there weapons here? I can't remember. I don't know if there's anything that is better than what I already have. What do I have? I have a knife, a carbon suit, and some shoes. Let's see, I think I can get a dagger, and that's the next thing that is better. Oh, no? I can't use that? At least it lets you know if it's appropriate for your character. Because he's like, you must be joking. You sure you want it? You sure you want that? I'm like, oh, yeah. Fine, I can't use that. I don't have enough for the sword. It'll be a while to raise my levels quite a bit. I mean, we are progressively getting stronger, and you do notice the level raises. But man, you start off so weak. You have to fight so much. What's really unusual is they took such a major tumble with Final Fantasy or Phantasy Star 3. And that's definitely the black sheep of the series. It's an okay game on its own right. It's a very standard JRPG, but nowhere near as good as the first two games, and certainly not even on the same level as the fourth game in the series. It's kind of nice they're trying something different and making it just a fantasy game, regular, Welsh fantasy. But I don't think anybody really liked it. It certainly wasn't received that well. Yee, slapping me around. Damn those things. Run back to town, heal myself. Healing items are super expensive in this game. I mean, compared to the amount of money that you make and how much your weapons and armor cost, it's like, yeah, you get like nothing. Just in case I die. Now he's only got 1 point, 1 hit point left. I guess I could run. Run! No guarantee that you are able to run, though, which is the sucky part about these role-playing games. It's like, just let me run. I'm not actually rolling dice, Just give me the give me the run. See, it's so stupid. It's like, just let me run. I gotta bring back Nai. Costs a ton of money. Well, I did some damage. I definitely need a better weapon for the main character. Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching the Sega Genesis Classics, and we are playing Phantasy Star number 2 on Nintendo Switch. Like I said, it's a classic game, but it is not without its faults. It is heavy grinding. But I think overall, the aesthetic and the sound and the whole package actually still are pretty good, and I think it stands the test of time. It just requires a lot more patience than what the modern gamer might be used to. But yeah, I'll try to go all the way through this. I had a lot of fun with playing the Sega Ages version of Phantasy Star 1, and while we don't get the nice bonuses of the Sega Ages here, we do get a replay feature, which is kind of nice, and then we get save states, which is pretty helpful, especially in a game like this where you can get your whole party wiped out, very easily. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.